This happened, in my case, it was overnight for me when I got the call at 4 in the morning. They tell you that we regret to inform you that so-and-so, in this case is Staff Sergeant Medina, was wounded in action. As part of the brain injury, he has some neck and back injury. You know, I usually tell people that that call is like a switch. It just changes everything. When Victor came home, he was a different person. The way he walks, the way he smiles, the way he talks, the way he looks or at you. So I started reading books about ambiguous loss and how you very much suffer the loss of someone, although that person is very much present or still here.
PsychArmor exists because it was so apparent that there was a gaping hole between all the resources geared and directed directly to veterans and a lack of resources for those of us who are unaffiliated.
When I met, PsychArmor, that I saw what they were doing and the whole endeavor and the goal for PsychArmor, I jumped in excitement because I said, wow, if PsychArmor would have been there when I needed that kind of support back in 2009 and 10, then it would have been so much easier for me than having to go and find all these resources from many different sources and places.
At USAA, a pillar of corporate responsibility for our company is a focus on military caregivers, as well as families of the fallen and those who are wounded, injured, or ill as a result of their service. And we are so pleased to work with PsychArmor to create the first school for military and veteran caregivers and their families, because it's making an impact in the lives of people that really do need our nation to extend its arms and reach out and help them cope with the reality of caring for an injured service member.
When I became a caregiver, I wasn't even aware I was a caregiver until like 9 months later. So there's one module specifically of PsychArmor that teaches you or educates you, and hey, are you a caregiver? They actually provide concrete examples where if you answer yes to all of those, you're like, oh, I guess I'm a military caregiver.
We also have a school for healthcare providers sponsored by TriWest.
What PsychArmor is doing for healthcare providers is that they're providing the information and the education for them to understand the population they're serving. In this case will be not only the service members, the veterans, but also their caregivers.
Many times I've gone to the doctor by myself, and when I get home, I don't understand what was said to me. When she asked me what did they tell you, then that becomes an issue.
And so we've been on a quest for some time to look for an organization that we could invest in, to be able to collaborate and build a tool set, to be able to train and deploy the training for private sector mental health providers. And PsychArmor has done exactly that. Our objective at the end of the day is to make sure that in our network that they will all be trained in these materials, and that at some point you will not be able to treat a veteran unless you've gone through the training materials, and then make that same information available to every mental health provider in the country, not just in the area we serve.
I think there's also another area when it comes to veterans, they all have PTS or they all have a brain injury that are going to hinder the way they perform. These veterans are going to produce more than any other employee that they may have in their companies. What PsychArmor is doing to mitigate some of these barriers and issues is that they're providing the education to the employers to understand that each veteran that you can employ will have an amazing return of investment.
So we have partnered with PsychArmor to create the Employer School. The Employer School provides online tools and resources that will empower our nation's employers to best serve and support the military community. For this reason, we're very excited to be working with PsychArmor in this important endeavor.
It's been incredible how Victor and I have met like the most wonderful people that are civilians that have never been exposed to military. They are a great asset to many organizations that are serving our military. So by PsychArmor including these modules on training volunteers, not only are helping the volunteers understand better the service members and the families, but they're helping them serve better in a greater capacity that maybe they thought they could.
The Bob Woodruff Foundation is thrilled to partner with PsychArmor to develop the online School for Volunteers. Those courses enable and empower anyone who chooses to stand up for heroes by volunteering their time to access these resources and ensure that they're appropriately equipped and informed to volunteer.
When I was talking to someone from PsychArmor, it was the CEO, Marjorie Morrison, I said, what you're doing is revolutionary, because basically you're bringing to somebody's life the information they need. And if that would have existed, again, when we started this journey, then we didn't have to spend as much time, right, finding the information out there.